Do you feel overwhelmed every time you sit down to write a video script? Trust me, I've been there. You stare at a blank screen, not knowing where to start, but you know that you need to create a script that hooks viewers in, keeps them engaged, and drives action. Today, I'm going to take you step by step through everything that I know about writing scripts that actually crush it online. And by the end of this video, you'll not only have the clarity, but the confidence in writing scripts that stand out on the internet. Now, just to give you the confidence that you're in good hands, I've created scripts for brands like Microsoft, Huel, Xbox, and literally hundreds of others. So everything that I share in this video is something that I've either tested for myself or have had real-world brand experience with, and I know that it works. Now look, we live in a world where attention spans are literally fried, and that means that the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video is going to be either where you win or lose your audience. That's really important because most algorithms nowadays promote videos with a high watch time and a high viewer engagement. And if you're losing your viewers literally within the first 2 seconds, chances are your content won't be pushed and you'll be likely stuck with only a handful of views, probably from you and your mates, which is not good. So let's talk about crafting the perfect hook. One of the ways that I love to create my scripts is by starting with either a pain point that your viewer is going through or a dream and desire that they maybe want to achieve. This is what's called an emotional hook, and from my experience, it tends to grab much more attention in the first few seconds. For example, if you're creating a video on fitness, instead of just saying, "Hey, I'm Jack and today we're talking about losing weight," you could say, "Ever feel like you're doing everything but still not losing weight? Let's fix that in 3 simple steps." You've literally just grabbed their attention by identifying a problem that they care about, and the chances of them sticking around to actually understand the solution to their problem is going to be incredibly high. Write this part first and write it well. It's your foot in the door, and if you get it wrong, the rest of your video is pretty much useless because your viewers won't even make it that far to see it. So spend time on this as a really core part of your script. Now that you've got their attention, let's talk structure. A solid script needs to guide your audience on a clear journey, no matter how short or long that video is. And that starts with the basic structure: hook, main content, and call to action. The call to action we'll dive into a bit later on, but your script should follow this format pretty much every time you want to add a bit of clarity to your content. For the main content section, especially when you're scripting content for platforms like YouTube, break it down into 3 to 4 different points, steps, or ideas, whatever suits your topic. For shorter videos, keeping to a framework called the rule of 1 is essential, as you don't want to overwhelm your viewers with too much information as they're just going about their day scrolling through social media. Scripting it in this way makes your final content much more digestible and easy to follow. So stick to a plan and keep things moving. If you outline these points before you even start writing, you'll feel way less overwhelmed as well. Now, what's crucial, especially if it's social content that you're creating, a bit of leeway is really important, as you want to inject a bit of personality, and that tends to come from talking more off the cuff and in the moment. So I tend to bullet point sections where I know a lot of the information myself off the top of my head, and I don't need to read off a physical script. This outline first approach is a game changer. Trust me, once you know where you're going, writing the rest becomes an absolute breeze. Remember that video is an audio-visual medium and not a novel. You are writing to be heard, not read. What does that mean? Well, your sentences need to be shorter, simpler, and conversational. If your script sounds stiff or robotic, people will zone out, and I know that from making a lot of bad videos in the early days that nobody watched, and now I know why. An example of this could be, in this episode, I will outline multiple benefits of intermittent fasting and its effect on metabolic processes. Yeah, no. Instead, try something like this. Intermittent fasting, what is the big deal, right? Well, let me tell you how it can actually boost your metabolism. It is the same information, but now it sounds much more like a human. It's broken down into easily digestible chunks of information that progress the narrative at a pace that isn't too slow or too fast. And I call this the Goldilocks pace. A golden rule of writing a script is to regularly read your script out loud as you write it. Does it sound natural? Is it awkward to say? Is it awkward to hear? So keep it flowing and keep it engaging. If you find that you are reading your script and you sound like a corporate robot, chances are it's going to be better to sit there, perfect it, finesse it, and make it sound a bit more personal, because that's going to really help your audience connect with you on much deeper levels. People don't just connect with information, they connect with emotions. Whether you are sharing a personal story, hitting a pain point, or cracking a joke, emotion makes your script sticky. Going back to your hook, it's what makes people feel something, and when they feel something, they're more likely to engage and remember your content over something that didn't even hit them in the feelers. For example, maybe you're talking about the frustration of wasting time on bad marketing strategies, or the joy of finally nailing a personal goal. Whatever it is, just inject emotion into it. You've got to keep in mind that videos are about human connection just as much as they are about information. People connect and eventually buy from people that they like, and part of building that relationship and rapport with your viewer is showing that you understand how they feel. The biggest brands on the planet do this in their marketing, from brands like Nike, McDonald's, Tesco to Patagonia, they spend millions on writing content that shows they understand you as a customer. Now, you can create emotion in a few different ways. We've already discussed approaching pain points from problems, pains, challenges, dreams, and desires, as well as being a bit more human, but you can also cleverly introduce emotion by pauses, or as the professionals like to call them, disfluencies. I don't know who's ever said the word disfluencies, but whoever you are, you're very posh. So I'm going to say 2 sentences, and I want you to pick out which one feels more emotional to you. Number 1, creating a script is hard work and it requires a lot of patience and persistence to get right. I would know, I've been making them for years. And the second version, creating a script is hard work and it requires a lot of patience and persistence to get right. I would know, I've been making them for years. The second version of the same script introduces disfluencies and moments of pause and reflection, and this gives the viewer time to relate to me as the creator. What happened that's causing me to stop and pause? Maybe Jack's actually been through a bit of hardship, and that's relatable to my journey as well. This is almost like a superpower if you can nail the delivery and the time to use it, and it can turn quite a hectic, very high energy video into something that really pulls the heartstrings, so use it wisely and time it perfectly. So you've hooked them, you've delivered value, and you've connected emotionally. Now it's time to close the deal. Your call to action, or CTA, is what turns a good video into a great one. And no, I'm not just talking about like, comment, and subscribe. That's important, but be more specific. What do you want your viewers to do next? Do you want them to download a guide? Do you want them to check out your website? Or do you want them to sign up to something? Make your call to action as super clear and direct and almost impossible to ignore as you can. This mostly comes down to the vocabulary that you use within your script. For example, a lot of creators will say something like, subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date with what we're up to, or they might say something like, subscribe to be the first to see my content when it releases. And that's okay, but if I was creating that script, I would introduce words like exclusive or limited or join the community or get your hands on instead of just general stuff. People have heard it all before and it nowadays pretty much goes over their head. Your job here is to get your viewer to go from your video, which you've worked incredibly hard on, to the next step in their journey. And they're only going to do that if you re-engage them and motivate them, inspire them or encourage them to take that next step by using words that make them feel like they're missing out if they don't. That is everything that I know about writing scripts that crush it online, condensed into a very short YouTube video at least. So now it is your turn. Go grab the blank page and start crafting something that is not only there to grab attention, but holds it to the very end. And if you want more tips like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll just see you in the next video.